today we're going to be talking to Mr.
Lloyd LaCroix
of the Pennington County Commission's Office.
Yes.
And then we have Mrs.
Hannah Churchill.
And
Kristin Kiner.
okay. And from
I'm from Teen Up Rapid City Area Schools
yeah.
and Youth City Council.
Youth City Council. Okay.
Hannah's the chairwoman.
Still in high school?
Yeah.
When do you graduate?
This year. I'm a senior this year.
You looking forward to go back to school?
Yeah. I am.
It's your last year. Hopefully you get to do it.
I hope so.
Okay, about the commission. I did watch some stuff, and if you guys don't know what the commission really does, you can check it out on YouTube. Just go to Pennington County Commission. It's on YouTube. You guys have your own channel. You guys upload your meetings and stuff.
Yes.
You guys deal a lot with budget. And I don't know how you guys think off the fly on how to decide a budget and then okay things right away.
Yeah, well, you're just seeing the meeting. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work with the auditor and the treasurer's office, the sheriff's department. You know, we send out to all of them quite a bit early in the year to prepare their budget. So it looks easy, but it's not as easy as it looks.
You know how much you get to play with and everything, and actually give.
Yeah, we pretty much get the numbers in early, and we give the department heads their objectives of what we're looking at what percentage their employees are going to get for raises and so forth beforehand.
For all you guys, how is this whole COVID pandemic thing kind of playing a role in you guys' everyday roles in business?
Well, I can tell you on the commission's part, we just opened up the building on the 13th. We were restricted before that, and some departments are requiring face coverings and some aren't, but we kind of let them decide. You know, the Attorney General's office, our State's Attorney's office, they prefer to because they do a lot more one-on-one. And Treasurer's office is doing a lot of the transactions for license plates. We have the shields up. We have the employees that are cautious and so forth. So we just kind of let them departments make their own decision on that part.
Yeah, just stay home if you don't feel good.
Yeah. And that's the standard. That's one of the first things that we directed out from the get-go. If you're not feeling well, stay home. Same way with people coming in the doors.
A lot of people back in the day, before this whole thing even started, they like to tough it out. No, I'm fine. I'll go to work. No, I'm okay, man. I've done this before. Now you start feeling something. You don't go. And with the students too, that going back now, they're taking measures. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, the youth council, Hannah, you guys were doing a lot of Zooms for your meetings.
Yeah, we've had Zoom meetings since April. We had our first in-person meeting for our last one in June.
Oh, yeah?
Or July.
Yeah.
July was our first in-person. So that was good.
Youth City Council, you guys deal with basically the school planning too?
We haven't really had a part in that. We're not really a part of the schools necessarily.
Right.
We're a committee of the city.
That's a pretty big part.
Yeah.
So what kind of role have you guys played?
At the beginning of COVID, we wrote a memorandum to the city council, and we kind of talked about how it affected youth in the community. And so we gave them our perspective on what was going on, so the city council knew how we felt and stuff as youth.
Do you guys get a platform to talk to other youth about it, or is it just you as a group? How many are you?
We have 18 members.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So, but yeah, the
That's
hope is that
idea.
We're getting out to other youth and not just us. We want to get youth involved all over the city.
I wouldn't know anything. And I mean, I know there's a lot of my friends too who wouldn't know what to do and stuff. So it's kind of good that, we have a program like that that's actually educating on how to take steps and procedures and how to do those things. Yeah. Because a lot of people out there, they think it's boring. And some of us don't want to do it, but it's so much. It's so much work. It's a very demanding thing with our community every day, all the time. So that's really cool. way to step up and do it for us.
Well, Brandon, it is a pretty big deal because, I mean, as Kristin, she's oversees the teen up and so forth, and that was something that was started many years ago. And the work that Hannah did and her team to come forward to the city council and get their support from the mayor and the council members to form this youth city council is quite groundbreaking for the Midwest. And so we've got a lot of people in our surrounding states that are really coming to them and seeing how they did that. And her persistence in doing that was really outstanding. And so, they're early on in the stages, but they're getting a lot done. And the teen ups, Kristin could talk about that, but that was something that started quite a few years back with the support of the Vakurovich Foundation, the school board, and a lot of other people.
Is this like a new department for Rapid City, like the Youth City Council? How many years has it been? Like 1, 2?
January 2020 was the first meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It really is. And
That's pretty big.
But Teen Up's been around for...
well, it's been about 7.5 years now. And I do want to talk a little bit about that foundational support. It was probably 13 years ago when the city had talked about, through a Strengthening Families Task Force, how youth engagement was key, within our community, in kind of creating that positive change and positive impact. And so initially it was authentic youth civic engagement. Yeah. And then and it all kind of started where everybody, there were a lot of adult mentors who were like, oh, this would be great to maybe have a youth city council and really have that platform where young people could come together and share their voice and let adults know what they're thinking and what might, make things work best for them. And it's taken a while, the 13 years, but Lloyd happened to be one of those foundational members with the city at that time. And then Teen Up got started, and it's a youth-led community engagement, initiative, basically. And I got to meet Hannah a few years back, probably about 4 years ago, and doing some community projects. And her and a couple of young people brought up the Youth City Council and that they really would like to try something like that. So they wrote up a proposal and they took it to the mayor. And initially, it didn't get pushed through. And like I tell young people, it's just the first roadblock. Let's figure out how to bring that down. Let's figure out what we need to change so that we can make this happen. And then Hannah, I believe it was last summer, brought it back and said, hey, what are we going to do with it? And then, it was really Hannah and her determination and then partnering with amazing people that made it happen and bring it back to the mayor's office and the council. So
Apprenticing and getting experience in politics is very important for the youth. Yeah. I mean, they'll be able to see all the mistakes and everything that everybody's making, especially with something like this going on right now with the pandemic. 20, 30 years from now, it could happen again, and they'll be like, we remember this. This is when our first year when we started up. We took these steps, and we did this. That is actually really good. So then, again, in the future, we won't guess. What did they do? Let's look back and watch videos and paperwork and stuff. They'll be more prepared. So, yeah, it's kind of good that the mayor and all of them kind of stepped up and let them take control a little bit. Put your hand on the wheel.
Well, that is a good concept of, you're teaching that they're getting involved and they see what's all involved. What the mayor constantly talks about, how a lot of people, the lack of people getting out to vote.
Big time.
For the percentage of people that turn out. And the lack of involvement of people running for office and so forth. And that's what's so great about this is they're learning that process. And quite often I wish I would have had my head on straight back when I was that age too. Because, the work that they're doing, they're just going to move forward and excel in their younger years, I think. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it could be could be a gnome in one of them positions, you know? I mean, you never
Yep.
know, you know?
Yeah.
Going to politics somewhere, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
some state.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you have to learn you find out right away that just because you propose something doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with it. You got to find a way to express yourself and
Failure is
Yeah.
expected
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. And I mean, it's just, it does take quite a bit
Yeah.
to do. So with the commission, how many members of the commission are there?
there's 5 members of the county commission,
Oh, okay.
and we have one from 5 different districts running from Hill City all the way to Wall. And we're similar to the city council and youth council is we have a chairman, vice chairman, and 3.
You guys collaborate with other counties and stuff?
Yes, we do. I'm
Yeah.
actually the president of the Black Hills area of county commissioners and officers for our region. So we meet quarterly and listen to. And in fact, we just had one. We talked about COVID-19. What's going on in your county? What's happening in yours? So we all get
Comparing notes and
Yeah.
stuff, and yeah.
And if there's anything that we need to take to the legislators, you know, any resolutions or laws that they'd like to present, our group evaluates them and votes on them and gives either our yay or nay support to the state level of county commissioners. So.
I'm just really excited about some of the work that the Youth City Council, what they've been working on since January, and also what they've done in their proposal and the start of the Youth City Council that allows for that sustainability of keeping the council together. And so, Hannah, if you would want to touch on a little bit about how many members are part of the council, but then also a little bit about the committees that they have formed and how that's how additional young people can kind of enter in the work that's being done.
So we have 18 members of the Youth City Council, but then we have 3 committees. So we have members of our Youth City Council on each committee, but then we also invite other youth from the community into those committees because, they're open meetings and stuff.
It's 14 to 18, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 14 to 18 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So that's how we get other youth involved. That's one way that we get their voice involved in our group and in the community and stuff. And so we have an environment committee, a mental health committee, and then cultural relations and community
Awesome.
relations. Yeah.
Mental health committee. So
Yeah.
what kind of stuff are you guys doing there?
I'm not a part of that one, so I'm not
Don't
super
know a whole lot about that.
informed, but they're doing a lot of cool stuff. They're
Come
starting.
on, Hannah.
They're actually starting a podcast about mental health, which
Yeah.
is really
Oh,
awesome.
that's what you were talking to me about.
Yeah.
So they're going to
Yeah.
start a podcast. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be good. The more everybody knows that everybody is having problems and stuff, and especially this time with COVID and isolation and all the weird mask wearing and stuff like that, it'd be kind of good because it does affect people differently, sensitive-wise. Yeah. Especially in school, adolescent.
Oh, yeah.
Hormones going through the roof, going crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough time. So,
Yeah.
do you guys have a budget and stuff like that?
Right now, we don't.
Yeah.
All we asked for from the council was a place to meet. So we meet in the council chambers where the city council meets, and we asked for support. So we have a liaison, Lance Lehman, from the council, and Laura Armstrong helps us. So we asked for a spot to meet and support, but we don't have any money in our budget right now.
Let's fix that, city. Let's give them a little bit to play with. Yeah, they could do some things, I mean, the youth, when I was younger, I mean, we had a lot of ideas and stuff how we could improve our community. And I mean, with the assistance of the commission, some things could actually get done, like that we don't even think of as adults because we've kind of lost touch, We knew how it was to be that 14 to 18-year-old kid, but nowadays, I mean, we've been so stuck in our path trying to grow up
sometimes just to get started, we didn't ask for a whole lot, but I could see that as their work continues and, the city council and our community finds benefit in the work that they're doing, I could see that, maybe in the future that's something we could ask for.
Yeah, at first get your foot in the door, and
exactly
then later open, kick it open.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I know that there's been a lot of support, let it be from, the communications or IT, legal department, even to help us to kind of fine tune the resolution and proposal so it could be passed through legal and finance and then go on to city council for their approval.
If the youth city council ever needs help, I will step up and do whatever I can media-wise for you guys.
Okay.
That'd be good.
That's good. Brandon, I kind of wore two hats. I was on the city council for 4 years. Now I'm a county commissioner, so I kind of seen where these guys come from. When she talked about the Strengthening Families Task Force, that's something that I brought back from a Washington convention, and then the council adopted that, and we did a community needs assessment for Rapid City, is what we did, and the youth engagement and mental health and transportation, alcohol and drug problems. And I mean, all that was identified in our assessment, and that's where ACE come out of. We had some good partners in our groups, and they pursued that, and then one thing leads to get another. But that's why I try to encourage these young people, is nothing happens overnight.
Yeah.
We're talking back in 2007, and it's just now blossoming to what it is today, which is really great because they led it. You know? So
you got the ball rolling though, didn't you?
Well, a little bit, but
Way to go.
He did.
Yeah.
I always say I planted the seed and everybody else watered it and took care of it. So and they've done a good job.
That's good.
Of doing that. But I would like to see, I think once they get their feet on the ground and get planted, I think that they will get a budget and find projects. I mean, they're already getting plenty of community support for what they're doing. So.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, it's first year, so it's be kind of nice to see where you guys go in the next 5 years, because next 5 years, a lot of things grow really fast around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Way to go, man. We need more people like you. Yeah. On the commission and all sorts in politics. So
no, we need more of them. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let me give you an example of this, Brandon.
Okay.
When the Civic Center was first proposed, back when Mayor Quaker was on, they formed a committee and to research the feasibility, what they wanted, and so forth. Is the public going to accept it? Well, we had a youth group. Broke off. I was on part of that group. Me and Dave Davis and Liz Hamburg. And these young kids, in a matter of like 6 weeks, they went out to their schools, did SurveyMonkey, did all this stuff, and found out that the youth didn't really support the Civic Center at that time. Then they went out and educated them, went back around to the schools, gave a presentation with economics and what it's all going to improve, did another SurveyMonkey, and come back with an approval rating from the youth that they wanted the Civic Center expansion, presented it to our group. All within 6 weeks, our group still went on for another year and a half trying to make a decision before it ultimately went to a vote. But I mean, they get after it. They're not afraid of failure, and they do the work. I mean, that's
That was a touchy situation too here in Rapid City.
Yeah.
Was the expansion on the Civic Center.
Yeah.
A lot of people said we didn't need it. They were wasting money. They needed it in roads and all sorts of things, which you can't argue. Some of our roads are pretty crappy. Yeah. Even like the west side is nice, but I mean you can hit a serious pothole. But with the expansion of the Civic Center for times like this, it was kind of made for the population of the 70s, not 2020. Or, 2010 even. So it is, our city does need events and things for...
Well, you got to find your balance. I mean, because some of that money that comes in is from the sales tax, because the money that they use to fund the Civic Center all comes from sales tax, and half that half-cent tax, half of that goes into capital improvement, which is for roads.
Yeah.
So it's not all, it's evenly split.
Right. And that's another thing, too, is people aren't educated to know where the money's coming from and how it's built. And then they immediately get mad. Our tax money is being wasted on something. And it's like, come on now. Yeah. We're a city. We're a whole. We're a unit. We're a team, basically.
Yeah. You know, and I want to touch a little bit about how young people, once they get their idea and they get moving on it, they go so much quicker than what adults do. And I think it's awesome because they're really into the action portion of the work, more so than just sitting around and talking about it. And I think as adults, we sometimes, we appreciate kind of that structure and that slow, thinking process that we need in order to embrace a new change or idea. But with young people, I mean, first meeting was in January. They had a retreat in February. Mm-hmm. They formed committees by March. And now each of those committees, they've already got their vision statements and projects and things already kind of planned out. That's in a matter of 7 months, where I'll be honest, as adults, and I am an adult, and this is sometimes a downfall. We will take 6 months to a year to come up with a vision statement. These committees, really, these committees already have their vision statement. They know what to reflect back on to make sure all their projects and their work line up with that. And, so it's exciting. It's inspirational, really.
I do have to say the youth are quite a bit more advanced than when we grew up.
Oh, my goodness.
But with everything that they have, the world at the tip of their fingers and Google and everything, and how to get things done and how they've interacted with each other and how to interact, how to get things done. How a lot of people sometimes have problems with media and stuff. Not youth, man. They know how to look things up, get things done, watch YouTube, figure things out, and roll with it. Quick. Adapt really fast. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of jealous.
I didn't have a computer on my phone when I was young, so it's...
Yeah, we didn't. And...
Well, Lloyd has been on Zoom meetings all along with the Youth City Council as we've been meeting with Zooms and stuff, and that's been fun to see, too, actually. So.
I've been asked to do some podcasts with Zoom and things over the phone, and I just won't. I don't know. I like that in person... the conversations that we have around a table. It's a little more engaging than on a computer because you get lag and then you start tripping over each other's words or you get interference or glitches or something like that and you just turn it off sometimes. So I just thank you for being here.
I appreciate the one-on-one too, and I'm glad the Youth Council did their one-on-one. And our county commission meetings, we've always kept them in person, but just spread our chairs out just like the city council is and so forth. But Zoom meetings and phone conference meetings, to me, aren't as productive.
They're not.
As being in a room with a person and having a good, cordial conversation. Yes, the Zoom's getting us by and phone conferences are getting us by, but it just doesn't have the effect or the one-on-one.
It's not engaging.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and when you want to talk about a subject, you're kind of over talking to the computer, and then you're like, whatever, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, or you can shut off your video and walk off, and nobody knows if you're there or not. So, I mean, it's not that engaging. We'd kind of like to have that eye-to-eye or face-to-face.
Well, and we've really empowered the Youth City Council to make that decision as to what they felt most comfortable with. And initially it was Zoom, but I mean, Hannah, do you want to speak a little bit about how you guys made that decision that, in person is important and we wanted to get back to normal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Zoom was working, but it was getting old, like you said. Mm-hmm. It was hard to want to keep doing it. And I think a lot of people felt that way. We had pretty good attendance, but we started to not. So the executive committee, which is the chair, the vice chair, and secretary, we got together and we kind of talked about how those meetings in person would look like, wearing masks or encouraging them and hand sanitizer and 6 feet apart. And I think it was good to have an in-person meeting. We didn't have a whole lot of people, but we had good conversation, and I think it was a lot better than what was on Zoom. Because, we'd have to, vote, and I'd say, all in favor, say aye, and everyone on
glitch out.
Turn on their mute.
Finally.
Yeah, it wasn't working as well. But it worked when we needed it. So.
Yeah. Does it feel different also? More, you feel more accomplished when you get out of there and having a real conversation, you feel better than when you get off Zoom. Do you feel completely different? Or?
Yeah. The Zoom meetings, when we were done, I'd feel I wanted to be done, and I was tired. I feel like they made me more tired because it's just hard to try and talk to everyone. Yeah. And know what people want to say, and it's just a lot harder to get things done. And in person, I get really excited, and I was really excited to go back in person and see everyone. And
it kind of makes you feel good.
Yeah.
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 It's mentally healthy better. Right now, that's a tough time.
Yeah.
One of the things about meeting in person too, even with these meetings, when you go to, some of the best information that you get or the better ideas that you get come after the meeting when you're done, or before the meeting when you're sitting back talking one-on-one, and you can ask people what they really think, and that's where a lot of the good ideas come from, I think. And
spitballing.
Yeah.
Conversation, that's where some of the best ideas ever come from, is bad ideas.
Well, the young people ain't afraid of failure. They'll pick themselves up and bang, because they're not worried about a lot of conversations. The politics of it. So.
Yeah, and a lot of conversations with the younger always start, okay, this is going to sound stupid. That's how they sound, but it's no, that's a good idea. Let's try that.
Young people can apply. We have open applications for the Youth City Council. They're always open, and they can be found at www.rcycc.com. And then for the next term, there will be a selection committee, and that next term will start in January of 2021. So those decisions will probably be made end of November, beginning of December. So applications are due by October 31st. So, yeah.
So when you're in youth city council and stuff, do you have to have a grade point average and not a record?
Nope.
No?
Those are between 14 and 18 is, and then on the application there are some questions that we ask, and really the selection committee takes a look at how they answer those questions, how involved they have been in the community, or how involved they've been as far as their work, what they feel passionate about, what they feel may be needed within our community, and then also just explaining a little bit about their interest. Why is it that they want to apply for Youth City Council and serve in that capacity? And so from there, we also take into consideration public, private, and homeschool. We'd like to have representation from each one of those.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then also male, female. We definitely would like to market more to young males that would want to serve on the Youth City Council.
Is it mostly women or what?
Yeah.
How many?
Have 2 guys?
Yeah. 2 guys out of 18.
Come on, guys. Step it up.
Yep. And then also the really cool thing is, young people plan it out so well. And they would like to have representation from each of the grade levels. And so that creates that sustainability that's needed too into the future. So as people are moving off of their terms and graduating or whatever it may be, there's still some of those younger people who are going to be able to pick up the reins and run with it moving forward and be those role models to keep it going into the future. So
even if you have high expectations but low grades, then you can apply.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I mean,
we encourage.
It could help in the future too, kind of motivate you and put that fire underneath you. So
when this first was discussed with the Strickland Families Task Force, when I got on the city council, I made the mistake of thinking, I always look back at my past, and I think of troubled youth and how do we get them out of trouble and so forth. And as I learned going on is, by the time you're 14 to 18, things are pretty much set. You made your decision where you're going to go, how things are going to go. So this type of program may not be for you. So the focus got to be during those groups when the ACE come up was there's plenty of people out there, younger generations, that are right there in the middle. They could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the choices that they make, this is an opportunity. And everybody knows when you help somebody out, like some of these groups are doing, they do a lot of volunteer work, that makes them feel better and helps improve you progress forward. So that was our focus, was for these young people to be able to stop concentrating on all the troubled, you know, the ones at JDC.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to get their help.
Yep.
But we need to concentrate on having something for the ones that are in the middle. And it takes initiative. You know, they have to take effort to be in there. It's not just the straight A students.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's be honest, the straight A students are kind of groomed in school for things. I was not the smartest kid, and I did a lot of trouble, but, you know, there's a lot of things that I, as an adult now, want to step up and do for our own community, which is a turning point in life. Some of us, it hits us harder later on rather than early. And for those that actually do know what they want to do, that 14 to 18-year-old age, that's kind of good.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll be on the straight and narrow path, which is kind of what we need.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't know how many. I'm not a felon, but I mean, if we had a felon on the city council, I'd be like, go for it, man. How much do you guys actually deal with the mayor, like on a daily basis or on a monthly basis?
You know, we haven't actually, I'll be honest, I think right now the youth city council is just kind of trying to find their foundation and their foothold and stuff like that. And as their confidence builds and as we do have young people who attend the common council meetings, and then they bring those reports back to the youth city council saying, hey, they're talking about this, they're making decisions on that. And then as they feel more comfortable in doing those kinds of things, I can see where maybe that interaction will increase. It's not because he doesn't want to, or he's got that closed door. I think he'd be extremely open to it. I just think that right now, well, in COVID, after 2 meetings, all of a sudden, we've got COVID upon us, and so I think as they're moving forward, it will probably happen more frequently. But right now, we haven't had to go back to the mayor for a whole lot. We did, or last month there was some recognitions and awards, and actually Lloyd received one, but and then also the mayor did, just thanking him for his initial support in moving this forward. So
Mayor Allender is a busy dude.
Yeah.
I really do like what he's doing. Some people, I mean, not everybody can be satisfied. Everybody's, not happy or happy with Kristin or Mayor Allender, and I think he's doing a great job. I mean, you can't go to college for things like this that's happening right now.
No.
With you guys, what you're doing, it kind of sucks that it's a trial and error type thing that we're playing with our own community. But it's real.
It is.
Yep. Hopefully it only lasts another couple days.
See, I was fortunate enough to meet and know the mayor back when he was a captain on the police department.
Yeah.
I was on the city council at the time, so I had seen him moving up in the ranks to chief and so forth. As far as the county goes, we have a monthly meeting with the mayor, the county leadership and the mayor, and they call it the Big Five meeting is what they call it. The school board president, yeah, School of Mines president and so forth. They have one meeting a month just to kind of talk about what's going on in everybody's little section of their world and how is there anything else they can help. It's just more informational, so
Conversation. It's the best way this community is going to run.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Conversation. But yeah, and even with the youth.
Yeah.
Not excluding a group. Well, I hope you guys get that mental health podcast going on.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
We'll probably be reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And anytime the commission wants to come on, you got anything else you want to fill us in on? What's going on in the community? Things we should know?
No, I think, our numbers are down in the jail and
are they?
We do an evaluation for people coming in, and if they're low-level offenses, we do an assessment, and if they don't need to be there, we're doing a lot of outreach
Good.
and like old warrants. A $50 warrant doesn't justify keeping somebody in jail overnight that costs you $80. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Common
Sense is telling you. So we're trying to work with some outreach to take care of those, so they don't have to do that. And the county does the health and human services. We do a lot of work with the veterans, and we do have our care campus. That's there. Where
Captain James Johns. I had him on the podcast. He was talking about that program.
Did he talk about the quality of life unit that's out there? That's a grant from the MacArthur Foundation. I believe it's the MacArthur. Don't quote me on that. There's quite a few of those, but the quality of life. They go out into the community and help find alternatives for some of the homeless in the community. Try to find resources for them, or if there's problems that arise. A social worker is pretty much what the work is what they're doing. So
cool.
So that's another way to keep jails down.
Yeah,
quite a bit too.
Right now with jobs, there's a lot of unemployed, and I mean, it's kind of good that our jails are not packed, and our hospital isn't packed. So I don't know, I think we're doing better. I think we're about over the slope. Hopefully.
I hope so.
I don't know, but you can only hope. Yeah. So, anything you want to add?
If anybody wants to get involved in the community or the youth city council, they can reach out, and
I'll post the information below.
Perfect.
So you can check it out.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Hannah?
I don't think so.
No. You ever been in trouble before?
Not really. I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. You look like a good kid. That's good. All right, everybody, thanks for being here.
Thank you,
Brandon, for letting us come here.
Anytime you guys want to come on and talk about anything, you need any help with media or anything, let me know. Black Hills, take care. We'll see you guys.
Thanks.